Economics, Standard 12, Unit 9, Fiscal Economics continued. Functions of modern state. A government is the system or group of people governing an organized community. Government is necessary to the existence of civilized society. The major functions of modern government are foreign diplomacy, military defenses, maintenance of domestic tranquility, administration of justice, provision of public goods and services, promotion of economic growth, and the development and operation of social insurance and social welfare programs. The modern state is a welfare state. It is not just a police state. It is a welfare state. It assumes greater roles. It creates economic and social overheads, ensures stability both internally and externally, concerns resources for sustainable development, and so on. Functions of modern states are: first, defense; second, judiciary; third, enterprises; fourth, social welfare; fifth, infrastructure; sixth, macroeconomic policy; seventh, social justice; and eighth, control of monopoly. So, functions of modern states. First, defense. So, first, defense, and second, judiciary. And the third one is, just remember, that is enterprises. And fourth, social welfare. And fifth, infrastructure. Social welfare and infrastructure. And sixth, the other important one is macroeconomic policy, social justice, and control of monopoly. Macroeconomic policy. And social justice and control of monopoly. Social justice and control. Eighth one, control of monopoly. So, there are 8 important functions of modern states. First, defense. The primary function of the government is to protect the people from external aggression and internal disorder and crisis. The government has to maintain adequate police and military forces and render protective services to the people. And secondly, judiciary, that is rendering justice and settlement of disputes, are the concerns of the government. It should provide adequate judicial structure to render justice to all classes of people, all classes of citizens, irrespective of their caste, religion, and so on. And third is enterprises. The regulation and control of private enterprise fall under the purview of the modern state. And modern state has to control the regulation of the private enterprises. Ownership of certain enterprises and operating them successfully are the responsibilities of the government. So the government has to take the control over private enterprises also. And government has own certain enterprises and operate them successfully so that the people may benefit a lot and the economic growth of the country can go higher and higher. The fourth important function of a modern state is social welfare. Social welfare is one of the important duties of a modern state, and it is the duty of the state to make provisions for education and social security, social insurance, health and sanitation for the betterment of the people in the country. And fifth duty is in providing infrastructure. Modern states have to build the base for the economic development of the country by creating social and economic infrastructure. Providing infrastructure is another important duty of a modern state. Infrastructure. And sixth important function of a modern state is following macroeconomic policy. Following macroeconomic policy. In order to provide in order to follow macroeconomic policy, the government has to follow fiscal policy and monetary policy. And following fiscal policy and monetary policy or administering fiscal policy and monetary policy, it can achieve macroeconomic goals. And seventh important function of a modern state is obtaining social justice. Social justice. So, maintaining social justice is another important function of a modern state. During the process of the growth of an economy, certain systems of the society gains at the cost of others. During the process of the economic growth, and surely certain sections of the society gain at the cost of others. The government needs to intervene with fiscal measures to redistribute income. The redistribution of income in a justice manner is one of the important duties of a modern state. So that is important. So bringing out social justice. And the eighth important point is control of monopoly. Concentration of economic powers is another evil. Concentration of economic powers is another evil. It should be corrected by the government. So the state intervenes through control of monopolies and restrictive trade practices to curb concentration of economic power on one hand. So it must curb the concentration of economic power on one side or one hand so that it can just follow the development in a better way. So control of monopoly is another important function of a modern state. Control of monopoly. So if a state follows all these functions in a proper way, defense, judiciary, enterprises, social welfare, infrastructure, macroeconomic policy, social justice, and control of monopoly, then that state will be the best state in the world. The state can play three kinds of roles. As a producer of goods and services. Secondly, as a supplier of public goods and social goods. And thirdly, as a regulator of the economic system. As a producer of goods and services, as a supplier of social and economic goods, public goods and social goods. Example, transportations, infrastructures, and so on. And also as a regulator of the economic systems. The administration of justice, law and order is the important function of a government. Justice and law and order should be administered in a proper way by a modern state, by a modern government. The government plays the roles of producer, supplier, regulator of the economic systems to make the people to live in peace and prosperity. So the main aim of the modern state is to make its people to live in peace and prosperity. And the government has to follow all these duties in a proper way and must function in a proper way to set up or to have a better government or better economic development in its country. If a modern state, if a government follows all these functions in a proper way, it will be the best modern state in the world.